Good evening, everyone. My name is Tanvir Shanawaz. I'm the campaign manager for the Nate Erskine-Smith Ontario Liberal nomination campaign in Scarborough Southwest. I will also be our press secretary today, facilitating the media Q&A after Nate's remarks. Given that so many of our media partners are with us today, and thank you for being here with us today, I will kindly ask that you limit your questions to one question followed by a follow-up question, and we will of course open the floor after the formalities to individual media interviews if you're willing to stay. Thank you to our vibrant and growing strong Bengali media community that we've all invited here on short notice. You contribute immensely to the political discourse that has taken Scarborough Southwest by storm over these last few months, and we have no doubt that you are playing such an important role in informing Scarborough Southwest voters as well as the broader community about all things that should matter to everyone. Just a few reminders for our community in Scarborough Southwest. The Ontario Liberal nomination vote is taking place this coming Saturday, May 9th, from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. at Birchmount Collegiate Institute. All registered and verified members will have been sent from the party specific instructions so that you know exactly what you need to bring with yourselves. Very simply, if you can bring a piece of photo ID as well as a proper identification with where you live, that is what party officials will be checking at the voting line to make sure that you are a verified member. If you need to have some of those complications or confusion sorted out, you can please reach out to our campaign by email at info@teamnate.ca, and we should be able to help get you sorted in advance of Saturday. I'd also like to thank Radhuni Pizza and Grill for hosting us here today. Just give them a quick round of applause for this beautiful space and opening their space up to us. And you'll notice that behind us we have wonderful, dedicated community members from Scarborough Southwest and beyond who have contributed so much to Nate's campaign, and we are so glad that they are here with us today and that they will be with us today on Saturday, hopefully as we celebrate Nate becoming our Ontario Liberal candidate. So without further ado, I'll turn it over to the person we're all here waiting to hear from. I'll turn it over to what I hope is our next Ontario Liberal candidate and MPP from Scarborough Southwest, Nate Erskine-Smith.
I was in Ottawa this morning and spending time with colleagues and talking to them about the race. And I was telling them about what a strong and vibrant Bengali community we have in the East End. I saw Dolly this morning as well and talked about working together for organizations in the community. And I just want to start with a question that I've received a lot throughout this race, which is, why am I moving from federal politics to provincial politics? I know many in the community. I've served as a member of parliament since 2015 and served an incredibly strong Bengali community in Beaches, East York. And the questions I get all the time as I knock doors and I make calls in Scarborough Southwest, especially in the Bengali community, is why would you leave federal politics where you've served now this is after 4 elections, and you've in the last election had 68% of support of the community. Why would you give up a safe seat to come to a riding where the Ontario Liberal Party has come in 3rd place 3 times? Why would you do this? And the answer is because there's an opportunity to make a much, much bigger difference. And it's a difference of ensuring that we rebuild the Ontario Liberal Party. It's ensuring that we serve this community better with strong Liberal representation. It's also about making sure we renew and rebuild the Ontario Liberal Party all across the province, where we need strong leadership. It is past time for change in Ontario. Doug Ford, so many people know who have kids in post-secondary, the cuts to OSAP will affect affordability deeply. So many people know that whether it's rent or the ability to afford a home to purchase, has run away from too many people. I've heard stories about challenges in accessing basic health care. I spoke to a constituent here in Scarborough Southwest who's a former nurse who talked about having 72 hours in a hallway on a stretcher and not able to get care in a room and have the comfort and privacy needed. Knocking doors for Dolly, I was knocking doors with Mimi, a personal support worker who is on stress leave because there aren't enough resources in the system to support the people who work in the system, let alone patients in the system. And so that core question of how do you make the biggest difference we've made a huge difference. I have been a voice in federal politics for workers. I've been a voice in federal politics for affordable housing. I've been a voice in federal politics for stronger health care, for Palestine and human rights. And I will continue to be your voice at the provincial level, but it's not just about being your local voice, it's about together building a team all across the province to deliver change. And I want to be clear that I have stood with this community and I will continue to stand with this community. Ami apnader shathe chilom, ar asha kori, je ami apnader shathe akshonge, aro kaj korte parbo. I have also listened to the community these last number of weeks as we campaign. And there are two things I repeatedly hear. One is about representation. The community wants strong representation. And of course. And look, I can point to 11 years of representation in federal politics for this community. I was the chair of the Canada-Bangladesh Friendship Group. I was in Bangladesh in 2017. We've delivered millions of dollars of support to local organizations that serve the Bengali community through Canada Summer Jobs, through New Horizons, through Immigration Canada, and more. I've been a voice for the Bangladeshi community in Parliament when it came to supporting Bangladeshi efforts to support Rohingya refugees, when it comes to supporting democracy in Bangladesh. But I can tell you that it hasn't been my voice alone. I have always had an incredibly strong Bengali team with me, and that is not going to change. You can see some of the team behind me. You heard from Tanvir earlier, and I guarantee you, if I am the leader of the Ontario Liberal Party, we are going to have strong Bengali candidates who work alongside me, and there will always be strong Bengali representation in my office. The second thing I've heard loud and clear is about community spaces. Now, when I was Minister of Housing, we were able to deliver funding for a Somali community center, for example. It was at the end of a long process, and we were able to deliver significant federal support in Etobicoke. Of course, Greek communities, Italian communities, Polish communities, long-standing communities in this country have their own centers, their own places to go and to be together. And yet, when I was starting out with Koken and Afroza and others here, starting the Toronto DACA Club, and I was, I think, the first honorary member, it was at Panda Walk in Scarborough Southwest. Why? Because we don't have the same community space to gather together in. And so learning the lesson from what other communities have been able to achieve, I've heard loud and clear, if I'm successful in becoming not only the voice for Scarborough Southwest, but I'm successful in taking a leadership role and being able to deliver change here in Ontario, I will work closely with the Bengali community here locally to deliver a community center for the Bengali community. It's not just about one community. You know, those in the Muslim community, for example, have asked me about advocacy around human rights. And I will remind them it's not just about representing a specific community, it's about shared values of justice, equality, and human rights. My mom is at protests on Kingston Road alongside others who have these same values. And it's about how do we make sure we deliver for all communities together, including a strong Bangladeshi community here in Scarborough Southwest. And to do that, we have to win. And the ballot question in this nomination is not where any of us are from. The ballot question is not our respective backgrounds. It's who is best placed to win and deliver for this community. And on that front, look, there are 4 people in this race, including myself, and I'm not going to disparage anyone. We are the only campaign in this race that has elected experience. We're the only campaign in this race that has won elections. We've won 4 federal elections, and we came real close to winning the last Ontario Liberal leadership. We have the strength of team and the track record to deliver Scarborough Southwest in a tough by-election, make sure the Ontario Liberal Party has a strong voice at Queen's Park for Scarborough Southwest, for the vibrant Bangladeshi community that I've been lucky to serve these last 11 years, and we are going to win together. And with that, I just want to say Donobad, and I look forward to answering questions, and more than anything, I just want to say thank you to the team for being here with me. Donobad.
We'll take questions from any media outlet that would like to. Just a reminder that it'll be one question followed by a follow-up question if you have one. And if you want to ask a question, please state your name and which outlet you're from. So we can start with, don't make it this easy on him.
Yeah, hard questions, easy questions. I take both hard and easy questions. You can ask anything you like.
What is the challenge to bring? This is Sanjay. I'm from Climate Channel. What is the challenge to bring the real voters to the center?
Right. So people should know that it's a different process in a nomination. So there are around 3,500 people who are registered to vote, and there are many people who understand what is going on and understand the process and have signed up and really are actively looking to participate and deliver change and support the Ontario Liberal Party. Other people don't understand the process. I've made phone calls and they say, yeah, of course I support the Liberal Party. Me too. There are 4 candidates, and what I remind people is your decision is incredibly important. This is a decision that sets the future of the Ontario Liberal Party locally and across our province, and you have a voice to decide who you think is best to represent this community and all of Ontario. That is the choice that people have in this election, and they have to come in person to vote. I know it's challenging. I know some people are working. I know some people have challenging plans. They might have a cultural event later in the afternoon. Everyone needs to come out and vote at Birchmount Collegiate to make sure that their voice is heard, and to remember that they have a responsibility for this community to say, who do we think is best to stand up to make sure we're competitive, to make sure we win, and to make sure that we're ready to deliver change.
Hi, Nat. I met you before, right?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Yeah. First of all, congratulations that you will continue along with the future upcoming leader of Scarborough. So my question is very simple. Once you elected,
Yeah.
what is the strategy that you would like to take? Like gas prices is going up,
Yeah.
the OSAP and the healthcare. I know it's not done by one day or 1 year. But what is the strategy that you are trying to provide the parliament to the community that helps our community to get rid of these things?
I'm glad you asked, because on all issues, Ontario is overpriced, and Premier Ford is delivering when it comes to housing, when it comes to healthcare, when it comes to public education. He is missing in action. It is legacy projects. It is cuts to OSAP. It is causing chaos with the island airport. It is completely, time and time again, it is distraction politics instead of delivering on the issues that affect us day to day. And so, look, I've got 2 kids in the public school system. Many of you knew me before I had kids. I feel like I've grown up alongside many in the community, and now with 2 kids in the public school system, I want excellence in public education. I'm the first, my parents were teachers. I'm the first in my family to go to Oxford, first in my family to go to law school. I did it on the back of a really strong public education. Every single kid, every single one of our kids deserves the same opportunity and equality of opportunity because we have excellent public education. So we need excellence in public education. On housing, it's the number 1 cost for most people is rent or their mortgage. And what the provincial government needs to do, we are the only province in this country that does not have a provincial housing agency. The only one to have downloaded the responsibility to municipalities and cities and towns that are ill-equipped to deal with them. Why has homelessness doubled over the last 10 years in Ontario? Because of Doug Ford. Why do people struggle with rent and affordability on rent? Because we are not building enough homes. We're not building enough non-market co-ops and non-market homes, affordable homes, and we are not protecting tenants and treating housing as a home first. So absolutely we need to be clear about that. When it comes to affordability more broadly, take OSAP just as an example. Higher education should be attainable for everyone, no matter their income background. Because of the OSAP cuts, there's going to be $3,500 more per year in debt for the lowest income students. Is that okay when everyone's experiencing an affordability challenge? Absolutely not. And at the same time as food prices are so challenging and other than insurance and rent, you're looking at an incredibly high grocery bill. You have Doug Ford say the Loblaws are great, and the Loblaws family should be, God bless the Loblaws. I mean, That's not the approach we need. We need an approach that takes affordability seriously. We need an approach that takes competition seriously and that defends consumers every step of the way. And look, so we're early in this process, and I'm willing to work with experts and work with community members to deliver. We are building a team to take on Doug Ford. Doug Ford has delivered nothing but incompetence and corruption to this province, and we are going to deliver better. There are three values that matter in politics. No matter the issue, including affordability, there are three values that matter. We need smart representation, we need fair representation, and we need honest representation. And those are the three things that we are going to deliver, and absolutely, we're going to have excellent public health care, excellent public education, and we're going to deliver affordable housing all across this province.
Thank you, and I am Sadru Sikandar, representing Bangladesh.
Thank you.
I'm Sheikh Mohammed Hussain. I work by Climate Channel and my page is Cholona Ghureachi. So I have a question, like our Scarborough Southwest opposition leader MPP Dolly Begum was our community MPP, right? So she didn't get chance to maybe lot of things she put the voice for us in the parliament, but maybe she don't get so much opportunity to solve the problem. But our community people really don't know, even I also don't know, MPP, what type of community service visibly. We didn't say visible. They say we do this, we do that, we that thing. Lot of crisis they solve. But in end of the day, what type of problem they are solving from community, what type of issue we can go from for her or for you, if you are MPP selection or election, what is the win or not win, but who's gonna win, what is we expect from them or her, what is actually we are can benefited from our MPP.
So there are a number of ways to think about this. There's the bigger picture piece of what ideas and ambition do we want to deliver the future for our kids and on affordability and on the core services that we rely on. The voice of your community in Parliament provincially has to be focused on healthcare, education, housing, economic opportunity, and the core issues that matter in our day-to-day lives. I've served federally for 11 years, and federally is oftentimes about the bigger picture and supporting provinces and delivering in partnership with provinces. Provinces affect people's individual day-to-day in so many specific important ways, and so your member of provincial parliament needs to be seized with that. The second thing to say is we've always taken this approach with my constituency office. You come into my office with a federal issue like immigration, we will help you, no question. But if you come into my office with a housing issue that is municipal, we can't help you directly. We will find you the person who can help you. We will never leave you without help. We will always connect you with someone who can help. And so as your provincial representative, I will be relentless about pursuing the same approach. You come into our office where it's a provincial issue, if it's accessing a provincial benefit, if it's accessing challenges with a ministry around home care, or you run down the list, we will be there to help directly. But if it is a federal issue or a municipal issue, we will help you find the right person, the right staff member, the right representative to get that issue solved, and we will make sure we don't leave you without the help that you need.
Thank you.
So today you see that the Globe and Mail newspaper.
Yeah.
So on that newspaper you say your campaign has raised serious concern about membership rejection.
Yeah.
So on that position, are you confident you will get
I was asked this morning, so I was in Ottawa this morning, and I was asked by reporters this morning the same question, and I am very confident heading into this weekend. We have an incredibly strong team, and I feel very good about where we are at. And look, there have been obstacles. There was a moment when Naheed and others were at Bengali New Year and we had a parade along Danforth. There were 3 paid Ontario Liberal staff members that were helping an opponent of mine, handing out flyers. That's not acceptable. The party corrected that. There have been hundreds of members that have been disallowed. Okay, there are challenges in the race. Okay, it's not new. I've been in politics, nominations, there are always challenges in nominations. I am not focused on those challenges. I'm focused on winning on Saturday. We have the strongest team, we have the most members, and we are going to win. Farouk, good to see you.
I'm from Senator Awaz. I'm asking question about the insurance. Ontario paying the most insurance in all over the Canada or probably the world. Is there any plan you can do for Ontario for us to do the premium less?
For
Auto insurance.
oh, auto insurance. Yeah, this is a very good example of an issue where when you run down the list of affordability, you have housing is your number one, you have groceries as your number two, and auto insurance is significant as well. And other provinces do a much better job of delivering more affordable auto insurance, and any serious premier who takes affordability seriously will be looking at what other provinces do and working with experts from other provinces to implement similar measures, because it's unacceptable that we see such an overpriced province. There is not a place that I go. I was just talking to a Gail whose son is a law enforcement officer in his late 20s, and he can't afford a home. And 30 years ago, no one in that situation would ever even thought twice about being able to afford a starter home. We live in a province that is far too overpriced, and on all things, we have to be squarely focused on delivering excellence in public services and affordability for people's daily needs.
Sanjay from Climate Channel. Just there are at least 4 candidates.
There are 4 of
Maybe
us.
You.
Yeah.
You. How much number you will put to you, and why? Why you are different from them?
There are many differences between us, but look, I have known. I'll use a few different examples. I grew up in East Toronto. Okay, I played baseball for Birchmount and for Scarborough growing up. When I knocked doors the first time for Dolly, I ran into someone who taught with my dad at Melbourne. I ran into someone who knew me from the Danforth shooting and my advocacy for the Fallon family, and supported my advocacy, and because they were so close to Teresa's mom. And I ran into someone who was a former constituent of Beaches East York. Since that time, there are so many people who have moved from Beaches East York into Scarborough Southwest. They're shared communities. Life doesn't stop at Victoria Park. We're in a restaurant right now in Scarborough Southwest, but if a few steps the other side of Victoria Park into Bangatown, and we're in Beaches East York, and yet life doesn't stop on Victoria Park. And so the connection to the community, I have an incredibly strong connection, and I know it's come up at different times in the course of this race, but it's actually to our advantage that we have. You look at the people behind me who have been with me since before I was elected. They knew me when I had hair. We've been doing this for a long time together, and we continue to do this together. And I did a tour of Variety Village where my old baseball coach for Birchmount connected me with the CEO, and we did a tour together. So those local connections stand us in very good stead, and I think that sets us apart. I won't go into the details of the other candidates, but we have a much stronger connection locally for a much longer period of time. The second thing to say is around the ability to win. Again, I'm the only candidate in this race with elected experience. I've served for now almost 11 years. I've taken leadership roles, not only chair of the Canada-Bangladesh Friendship Group, I was co-chair of the All-Party Anti-Poverty Caucus, I was a Minister of Housing and Infrastructure, and delivered billions of dollars in affordable housing and transit for the City of Toronto. Okay? So there's a track record of getting things done, and there's also a track record of winning elections. We have won 4 federal elections. In the last Ontario Liberal leadership race, we secured 46.5% on the last ballot. No one else in this race has the track record of delivering as an elected official or winning elections. And let me just make this very clear about the team. No one else has the strength of team that we have to win in Scarborough Southwest in a by-election.
My 30-second question.
Yeah, 30-minute question.
I can, because I worked for you for a long time, 10 years, I can. But I take a 30-second question. Your achievement, your goal, everything for East York, right? I worked with you 10 years.
Yeah.
I was a volunteer.
Yeah.
But now you are East York you jump to the Scarborough Southwest. So just conclusion, one word. So you can give the answer like why we are vote for you.
Yeah.
Well, we are Scarborough, whatever our neighborhood, everybody. So why they gonna vote for you? Because you are staying East York, you jump to the.
I'm moving to Scarborough Southwest for a specific reason.
Yes.
Mary Margaret McMahon is a strong Ontario Liberal colleague in Beaches East York. And my goal is to rebuild the Ontario Liberal Party take on Doug Ford, and deliver change. And everyone in Scarborough Southwest deserves better. They deserve better health care, they deserve better education, they deserve better on housing. And if we're going to deliver for Scarborough Southwest, we need to make sure we have a strong Ontario Liberal Party. And so change starts in Scarborough Southwest. We are going to build look at the team. We have a strong team in Scarborough Southwest. We are going to win a nomination on Saturday. We're going to flip a tough by-election, and we're going to win a leadership and deliver change all across this province.
Thank you.
Omi, just to interrupt, because there's two renowned journalists from our communities here.
Yeah.
Shohidul Islam Mintu and Shabatul Islam Sagar. They might have some questions. And there is Jahangir Bhai also there. So I would recommend them to ask some questions. Shagar Bhai, do you have any questions?
No, actually, my apology. I'm late here.
Nice to see you.
I was actually in a meeting in Bonn, so I don't know whether all the questions were asked to you or not. But I have one question.
Yes.
I wonder whether you are running from Beaches East to Scarborough Southwest.
Yeah.
And this is actually what is happening on Saturday. That is actually nomination race. And what we are seeing for last couple of months, it seems like more than actually like what you have experienced in your federal MP election, you are experiencing more than that in your nomination race. So the change, do you think this is actually deteriorating the quality of Canadian politics, or we are forced to, like the, what I can say, we are forced to face this type of politics in near future, like the Liberal Party. I know a 14-year boy cannot vote you in your MPP election, and non-citizen cannot vote you in your MPP election, but they are deciding whether you can get nomination or not. How fair it is?
So I mentioned this morning, and the federal party changed the rules to ensure that only permanent residents and citizens can vote in nominations. The provincial party did not take that good advice and follow suit, and the provincial party does allow temporary residents, asylum seekers, international students to vote in this race. And look, I can tell you it's frustrating sometimes. You knock on a door and there are maybe people that don't know about the process and don't understand, and in most cases, frankly, if we're being honest, they don't intend to vote. And so when I look at the list, the people that are actually paying attention, the people that are actually strong Liberals and they want what's best for the Liberal Party, we will win that vote overwhelmingly. There is no question about it. And to your point as to, look, nominations are tough politics always. I ran a nomination in 2013, 2014, and I laugh at at a previous question of sort of what distinguishes you from other candidates. I guarantee when I look at all of you and you're asking me questions, but if I were to ask you a question, I would say, when did you meet me for the first time?
Oh, that is a long time.
A long time. A long time. When did you meet me for the first time? When did you meet my kids for the first time? When did you meet my wife for the first time? When did you meet my parents for the first time? And I don't think if other candidates asked you that same question, you would say a long time. And so...
And one thing I can add, like that, before I say hello to you, you say hello to me whenever you meet.
I mean, that's, of course. So look, we're going to get through this nomination, and I think there's more attention to this nomination in particular because it matters for the leadership. But of course it matters for the leadership, because when we win this nomination, we're going to win a by-election, and we're going to win leadership, and we're going to do it together.
Yeah.
I'm from Provarshi TV.
Yeah.
Question is, the recent poll shows that Conservative has a very strong presence and probability to win elections in Ontario because they're very strong. Poll shows that, right? The percentage of...
Depends which poll.
I'm coming to that. So thing is that, I mean, definitely this riding is a liberal riding. We see that.
Federally, yes.
But, yeah, I mean, even people here, the mixture of the people, I mean, they are kind of liberal support.
I know, but it's important to put a point on this actually, because some people mix up federal and provincial politics. So federally, it's a very strong Liberal riding, right? So look, I'm very glad that Dolly is a colleague of mine. Had there been a nomination, had it been someone else, I don't think that candidate would have got 70% of the vote, but there was a good chance we were going to win because Mark Carney is rightly well respected, and because after Bill Blair, and we've always had a very strong federal Liberal Party here. Provincially, though, it's tough. I mean, this used to be long-standing NDP riding, going back to Stephen Lewis, and for the last 3 elections, the Ontario Liberal Party has come in 3rd place 3 times. In fact, in the last election, the campaign here fared worse, did worse than Ontario Liberals across Ontario. We struggled even more here than elsewhere. And so people should not mistake the need for a really strong local candidate who has elected experience, who has the ability to win elections and build a team, because we need to win here in Scarborough Southwest.
That part I agree, sure. I mean,
Yeah.
100% match with your background and everything. You are the most eligible and most strong candidate for
Join me on the campaign trail.
Why not? It is that Doug Ford is really, the perception of Ontario
Yeah.
is that he's doing well from the economic perspective.
I understand what you're saying. So, okay, so what I would say is even people who like Doug Ford, even people who like him, know 2 things are true. He's incompetent, and he helps his friends before he helps people in need. Okay? So as Ontario Liberals, what do we need to do? We need to make sure that we put people first, we relentlessly communicate what we are doing, and we hold Doug Ford accountable. He just gutted transparency laws because he didn't want to disclose his cell phone records when he was doing the business of the province on his cell phone. He cut OSAP, and it's going to cost low-income students thousands of dollars. You look at public education, there are teachers that have been fired at a local school only because they were trying to serve kids in the best possible way. And so you run down the list, and Doug Ford is failing Ontario. You ask questions about affordability. Everyone knows that this province is overpriced and this premier is under-delivering. So we have to hold Ford accountable. It's not enough to not be Doug Ford. So we need an Ontario Liberal Party with a strong Ontario Liberal leader that stands for smart, fair, and honest leadership on the issues that matter, on housing, healthcare, education, and economic opportunity for our kids and for our future.
Sure, okay, nice.
Yeah, of course, cut legal aid too. I mean, like what we see in this province is if it's a land swap on the green belt and an envelope is handed at a wedding, he'll try to get it done until he's caught. But if it's for services that support those in the greatest need, OSAP, legal aid, we don't see supports. And in fact, it's even worse because we see on the eve of the last election, and this, to your point, and this is, he plays politics. On the eve of the last election, he spent $3 billion of taxpayer money as a handout to effectively buy people's votes in advance of an election, instead of delivering excellent public services that we rely on not just in an election, but for many years after an election. And just ask yourself, is this the kind of leadership we deserve in Ontario? And the answer is not. And if you believe that we deserve better, and I believe we deserve better, then you've got to step up and participate. And look, it's not easy to leave. I have a safe federal seat, okay? I've been in federal politics, it's what I know. I've done it for 11 years. It would be easy to stay there. And yet I'm taking a risk, coming to the provincial level to build something better. Why? Because I believe we all deserve better. And if you believe you deserve better, you have to do something about it.
Yes.
Sharing one experience with the doctor. He was declared before election. He said, I'm going to work for the insurance to get down. When I see him personally, I ask him personally, my friend, are you really doing something on the card? Oh,
Yeah.
I'm going to work. I said, you should. Get the photograph. I said, no, I don't need the photograph. I need to card the thing if you have to work with the insurance, because I was living in Saskatchewan, only $78 I was
Yes.
paying for insurance. Now he has $350, I'm $15.
So Farouk makes a very good point. So he says he will do something. Buck a beer doesn't happen. I didn't even want buck a beer. He says he'll end hallway healthcare. Okay? Hallway healthcare is worse than ever. Worse than it's ever been. I just mentioned I heard a story from a former nurse, spent 72 hours on a stretcher in a hallway before getting care. Farouk mentions auto insurance. He says he's going to do something about it. He says it on the eve of an election and then doesn't come through with the changes we need. I spoke to a woman who was on the basic income pilot. He promised at 3 different election stops that he wouldn't cut the program, and then he cut the program. So time and again, he's folksy, I get it, he tells it like it is. Well, I think we should have an Ontario Liberal leader who tells it like it is, but actually delivers. And
okay, fine. Last question.
Once you get going, you get going.
Yeah. All right. So we know that we have crisis of doctors,
Yes.
nurses in Ontario.
And there are like a lot of internationally trained doctors who wants to come to the, healthcare sector in
Yes.
Ontario, but, they're not getting access. So what is your plan for that?
Okay, I'm glad you mentioned this. There are over 2 million people in Ontario that don't have access to a family doctor. My wife is from a small farming community. It's worse in small, rural, northern communities. It's also worse though in communities that are lower income. And there are many places across Scarborough Southwest that are lower income, and they struggle with this same challenge. And if you don't have access to a family doctor, what happens? When something goes wrong in your family with yourself or your kid or your parents, you go to the emergency room. And the emergency rooms then become the first place you go instead of the last place you go. And so the healthcare system all the way through is struggling because we don't have the number of family doctors that we need. And there are two ways to solve this problem. Okay? One, you need to make sure that more people want to become family doctors, and that's pay, and that's also making sure that there's not the administrative burden. The number of people I speak to who say, I've gone into a different profession, I didn't want the administrative burden of being a family physician and running my own little practice. So family health teams are the answer. That's one part of the answer. But your question is exactly right. You need more people to have access to residencies. You need more internationally trained doctors that have access to residencies to become doctors here. And it's not only, it's people who are here in Canada who can't get access to a medical school, so they go overseas, and then when they come back, they don't get access to a residency. We need to widely expand the system so more people, both domestically trained, internationally trained, born here in Canada, born outside of Canada, can become family doctors to better serve our communities.
Okay, and with that, we are closing the formal press conference.
Vote on Saturday.